lovely witness Swalker 101, affectionately known as your Dean, Shane, and your pink professor is here today as well, Miss Elizabeth. I hope you guys are excited for a fun-filled lesson that Shane has thoroughly prepared for you today.
Uh-oh.
Did you forget to do your homework?
Oh, it's hard being me, Kubi. Miss Elizabeth.
Thank you. Indeed, indeed. And so, you guys know what happens when you don't do your homework? You get sent to detention, my friends. To the back of the classroom. I don't want to see your face.
Oh.
Everybody. Back. Well, friends, I hope you had a lovely time listening to Bucky Doral. Bucky, always enjoy listening to your show. I think it's probably just as much fun as learning. Probably not. If only I had a guitar, then I could sing classes to you. Until then. So, as Shane is oh so prepared for today's classroom, as I had 2 ideas for us to do today, inspired by his lovely wife, who did this beautiful post for you all today. I'll post it in chat for you guys. She is
You know what? I don't want to hear about how awesome she is, because do you know how much I had to do with this post?
No, I don't want to hear about how much you had to do with this post.
This post was all me. She's like, I need to make a post, and I'm sitting there explaining something to her. Next thing I know, she pulls out this post, which is exactly what I explained to her. She's taking the credits.
Well, she wrote it.
She did. Her name's on it.
This is true. But since you explained it once, why don't you go ahead and explain it again?
Okay, the whole idea behind this post is why it's better to take the 50-50 rewards on your posts when SBD is above $1. And the reason is because internally, SBD is always going to be pegged to $1. So when you get that payout out there, and in the example in the post, we used a $100 payout post. 50% of that's going to be paid in SBD value, and 50% of that's going to be in Steem value. The Steem value is always external. So while Steem may be worth $50, you may only get 5 of it. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
The SBD is always internally pegged to $1. So on that $100 payout post, you're going to get 50 SBD, no matter what the external price is worth. So when it's over $1, it behooves you to take the 50-50 because you end up scoring big time.
This is true. So when it is pegged at $1, however, powering up at 100% isn't too shabby either.
Well, it all depends on the price of Steem.
So if it's at $1, then maybe not. But if it's below $1,
below $1, that's when you 100% power up. That's when you take the full power up, because then you're actually losing out whenever they pay out the Steem. Because let's say SBD is externally valued at 50 cents. Steemit's still going to pay it out as if it's pegged to $1. So you're really only getting half of the SBD value if SBD was worth 50 cents externally.
Now, why do they always peg it at $1?
They pegged it at the $1 because the idea was that SBD could be used to trade for goods and services, and that merchants would want a currency that is stable, that they could count on a constant value, that they didn't have to worry about, will it go up, will it go down? So the whole idea was to peg SBD at $1, and that way merchants could feel better about accepting it. And as Rondon said, because they're dumb.
Who's dumb?
Well, that's what Rondon just said. No, but that was the whole idea, was for possible merchants. Since we can't control what happens externally, obviously that didn't happen. And we saw recently where SBD, it flew up to around the $12, $13, $14, $15 range. We're leveling back out now. So It's down to about $4 externally. So it's starting to come back down. But we'll see.
We shall see. Pegging crypto to fiat is dumb. Oh, there you go, Rondon. Use your words. That makes a lot more sense.
Miss Kubi,
Oi.
how have you been? It feels like I don't talk to you anymore.
I know. Where have you been? Why has your job consumed your life?
And then it just has all these people just keep coming on, and they keep adding more patients to me and more patients, and they keep expanding the area where I drive, and it just keeps getting larger and larger. And then today we had ice everywhere, and it wasn't really much ice, but it was enough to shut this city down. And it was a mess.
In a dress. What can you do? And guys, I want to remind you that if you would like to learn about Markdown, I have a couple of, well, all of them are free now, but if you follow this person, Cemeterianit or something or other, he has a course that he has made now free for everyone where you can take, and he walks you step by step each part of Markdown in this tutorial. Now, you used to have to pay for it, but now he's decided to make it free for all, and he actually makes posts about each step of it as well. So if you don't have time to take the course because it's quite lengthy, I'd recommend you follow it because you get snippets of it throughout the whole process. And then if you have some time, I highly recommend you take the course. You can join our server here, and if you join, I will eventually make you orange, and you will be officially one of our students. And the link for his free classes are in there where it says Markdown channel. So please join our Discord. Please take a look and say thank you to him for creating this marvelous help. It's very detailed.
How nice of that was that?
It was unbelievable. Yeah, because he's had it for a while now, and he's been charging for months, and he was really sweet to make it free for everyone.
Yeah, it's really, really awesome. Hey, did you see that post that G Mux put up yesterday, speaking of Markdown?
The one that you received on the MinnowUniversity page?
Yes, about making footnotes.
No, I did not see that. I saw that he made one. I did not see that was footnotes included.
Oh
in
no,
that.
this one's different. I didn't re-steam this one. I'm sorry. I just said an untruth. So he made one about adding clickable link footnotes into your posts.
Oh, good, because someone had asked us about that, and I haven't seen that one yet. Oh, actually, I did see this one, and then I was going to add it to our Discord, but I saw that you had done it already, if it's the same one.
No, this is a brand new one. I haven't added this one yet. Muxie may have, but I haven't.
Let's take a look here. So you do bracket, the power of number close bracket. Is it a clickable link? Oh, it is. So once you have that on your post, it takes you to the corresponding link. Is that how it works? Interesting.
Yeah, and it adds it as a footnote instead of a large link. So you just have a tiny number that's the link to your footnote.
Interesting.
That's pretty nice, I think.
And I think if my memory serves me right, this is a new feature. Steemit didn't have this before.
Yeah, from what I understand, this is something that's popped up this week.
Wow, very nice.
So, yeah.
Well, there it is. I have added to the Markdown guides on the Discord, so if you guys need it for reference, it's there. Inquiring Times actually made a quite lengthy post on several referral links that you could use for different things. So if you guys are looking for a one link that has a ton, Psycho Chica has it as well. All of these I have posted onto the Discord channel as well. So if you need any references or you're looking to see all at once and you don't want to have all these bookmarks, you can just join the server and it's all there for you. And some of them are even pinned to the specific room. So if you have questions or discussion or anything like that and you want to go back and reference it, you just click on the pin and it's all there for you. We should have Muxie come on. Is he even awake? It's kind of late for him.
Oh, you never know with him. He's always awake. I'm sure those little eyes will pop up in the chat here at any second.
Anticipating the arrival. Alrighty. Well, that was a fun fact that I did not know. I'm going to try this. Hopefully a lot of people will use it. I do see quite a few people writing research-like papers on here. And it's nice to have smaller sources like that.
Yeah, I need to start paying more attention and adding links like this to my posts.
So next topic up for discussion is about delegation. What is delegation, Shane?
Oh, delegation. You're throwing me softballs, Scooby. I like this, Miss Elizabeth.
Okay, answer the question.
Delegation is basically lending someone SP, another account, SP, so that they can use. The delegation still belongs to you, but you're just lending it to the other account, and they get to use that SP for whatever length of time you want set, and however much SP you want to send them. In a nutshell, that's delegation.
And how do people send delegation to each other?
Oh, well, we got a handy dandy link. Let me see if I can bring this up for you real quick. Actually, a real easy way. I don't know how many people are going to have the Vessel wallet. That's a real easy way to do it. But
Really?
we do have a handy dandy. Yeah, the
Do
Vessel
explain.
wallet is awesome. There is this wallet. Let me see if I can find the link. And I believe it works for Windows, Mac, and I have it on Linux here. So let me do some looking here because, yeah, let me see if I can find this.
Okay. And if you guys are wondering, how do you check to see if someone has delegated to you or if how much SP you have in order to delegate? Steemit.com. So that's STEEMD.com. So Steemit without the IT. At your name or / at your name. Here's mine, for example. This is kind of the behind the scenes of Steemit. There you'll have your Steemit name. To the right, you'll see your vest, your Steam, and we've talked about before what these each individual mean. And to the left, it will show you your voting weight, and it'll show you the grand total. Now, the base is how much you have organically grown yourself, or how much you have been given, or how much you have earned, or how much you have bought into. That's that first number. Then you'll have a plus or a minus if someone has delegated to you. That, and as Shane explained, that is them lending their own Steam power to you for a temporary time, which they can withdraw at any point. Then the third, which not everyone has, can be a minus as well, and that's how much you have delegated. So if you have delegated to an individual, to a group of individuals, to a community, to a project, then that is what that number would mean for you. But at the top, it will say cumulatively how many you have if you were all to keep that all to yourself. Now, some people may be wondering, now, why would someone delegate their own Steam power to others? It's an excellent question. A lot of whales recently have done it in order to spread initiatives, such as curating undervalued posts, in order to encourage others who don't have a lot of SP to keep going on several projects that they have on themselves, or just to kind of lessen the burden on themselves for upvoting, commenting, and posting, because they share it with others who do it on a more consistent basis. And if they had more Steam power, they could spread it a lot further than just one person doing it themselves. And if you'd like to partake in that, you can also delegate your Steam power. For example, you guys are all here in the Minnow Supports Discord, where we promote peace, abundance, and liberty in recruiting, retaining, and growing with Steemit users like yourself. And if you believe in this project, if you feel you have gained something from it, even if you had met one person, then we highly encourage you to delegate to it to spread through the wealth. Now, our bots have been down for a little while. We are working on that. It should be up before 2019, so stay tuned for that. And once it is up, you'll be able to upvote one post that's at least 20 minutes old every 12 hours. Or you can do it to someone else and encourage them to come over, because it's a lot more fun to be on a platform when you have a friend who you constantly chat with, or new people that you don't really so much engage with on the platform, but you support them as an individual and you give them some upvotes. So Shane, tell us about this vessel wallet.
Okay, Vessel Wallet is pretty cool. You can give it the access that you want. You can either give it posting, um, private active, or memo keys, or your main key. You can give it whatever access you want to give it. It's pretty safe. I mean, it's one of the it's a well-known third-party program, so it's safe. Um, but the real nice thing about it is this screenshot I'm about to put here. And what you're looking at right here is this is my vessel wallet, and you can see where I have my SP delegated, and over on the far right, that little control button, there's the big green button. You can add a delegation just by hitting that button and putting in the account that you would like to delegate to. It will pop up a little slider switch of how much SP you'd like to delegate. You click OK, put in your password, and you've automatically delegated. Real easy peasy. Yes. It's a nice little it's a nice third party tool. Really helps with delegation. You can see what you have delegated out real easy. You can see what day you sent it, and what day that you can bring it back in. It's just a nice tool.
Do you have a referral link that you can send everyone? So if someone would like to create a vessel wallet, they can do so?
Yeah, right under the picture, or I'm sorry, right above the picture, I put the GitHub, which is directly to the releases for Vessel.
There you go. Now, is this web-based so they can access it from anywhere, or is this an app they have to download?
This is an app. This is desktop based.
Very good. Now, what other features can you do with this?
Oh, with this you can power down with this. You can power down a certain, if I believe correctly, you can. I haven't powered down yet, so I need to take a look at it.
So everything you've done has gone in. Have you taken fiat money into crypto?
Yeah, but not through this wallet.
Gotcha.
I haven't used the wallet for this.
So what do you use this wallet for?
I use this to keep track of my delegations, to add my delegations, and to I can easily see how much I have delegated out and either add to it or take away real easy. So it's just a way to keep it nice and neat, and that way you're like, do I have 30 delegated to here, or do I have 40? No, you can look right there, and there's all of your delegations.
So walk us
That's
through
what I mean.
all the delegatees that you have delegated to and why you have chosen them to delegate to.
All right, KittyBot is just a voting bot that I delegate to. MSP BidBot is MSP's BidBot that I delegate to. That puts a little bit of money into Minnow support and a little bit back into me. MSP Mods I delegate because that helps the moderators whenever they make the post. It's a nice little bonus for them. MSP Music is the art and music curation account that Saria runs. So she basically held me at gunpoint and told me to delegate to that one. So I did. MuxieBot, because Muxie does a lot of good curation. So I delegate to that. And the SFT, which is part of the writer's block. And they delegate writers. Delegate to the, or not delegate, they curate to different fiction writers. So I delegate to that also. I need to add a couple, don't I?
Yeah, I don't see my name on there, so you need to get on that. Now, how come you delegate to BidBots? I don't understand how that works. What's the benefit of delegating to BidBots, and how do you benefit from that?
Well, on MSP BidBot, you do get a return on that. So MSP BidBot does give, I believe it's 90% of what it takes in, it gives back out to its delegators. So it helps itself build up big, helps give up nice upvotes to people, and in return for borrowing my SP, it sends a little a little schnitzel of SBD back to me every day. Some of the others, most of the others, it's just out of the kindness of your heart. There's really nothing to gain from it.
Now, how do you decide how much to send? Because obviously you need to send more to MSP Music because your wife is lovely.
Well, I haven't put any delegations out at the time. Well, when I put all these delegations out, that pretty much wiped me down to nothing. So I basically sent my delegations out based on what I could afford at the time.
Yeah, you're down to 504 now, it seems.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Let me take a look.
Unless I'm reading this wrong.
Where are you reading?
Steemit team. So it says 3,435 plus 504 minus 2,863.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so you have 3,000 collectively. On your account right now, you have 504, unless 504 is what was delegated to you, but you've sent out 2,000.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
There you go.
I'm on Steam now, and it says my voting power is 1,075. So yeah, I probably have about 500 that I could delegate out. Maybe a little less, but somewhere in there.
Now, I don't see Upgoder in your list of delegations. How do you support that?
I actually do rent delegation for that one, or lease the delegation from Block Trades.
Very nice. Now, why would someone lease SP?
The only real good reason to lease SP is either out of the kindness of your heart or if you're running a bid bot. Because besides, running a bid bot, unless you're just constantly self-upvoting, there is no way to get a return on it. It's just not worth it. But with the bid bots, it works out. It works out for the people that send in for the bid bots, and it works out for the people running them. So as far as I've seen, unless you just got a heart of gold, there's no reason to lease SP.
Now let's talk about the slider, because when you first start out on Steemit, not everyone has a slider. What is it, and how do you get this magical tool?
Oh, I love that day I finally got my slider. You get the slider when you hit 500 SP, that's powered up Steam in your account. And what that's going to allow you to do, as soon as you hit that upvote button on a post, instead of it just automatically upvoting, this little slider is going to pop up. And you'll be able to adjust your percentage of your vote. So if you think someone had, it was a good comment, but it wasn't 100% of your SP good, you could set it down to 75% or 80% or 50%. And what that's going to do is allow you to vote more with your voting power and not drain your voting power as much. You can set it to whatever you want. Oh, there's Miss Elizabeth just put up a picture. And yeah, you can see there's a 34%, which is 68 cents. What is that, you?
Correct.
Look at you. You're bringing the big bucks these days.
Well, I still have half of my delegation prize that wasn't taken away yet.
Best reason to lease SP. Generally, the person you lease to will upvote your post from gratitude. So you're basically upvoting yourself multiple times. Whereas before, you could only upvote once. Son, that's not a bad idea. I don't know. How did you get the amount your upvote is worth included? Kubi?
So there is this lovely. How did you get the amount your upvote is worth included? Oh, on Google Chrome, there's an extension that you can download, and there's lots of different features that come with it. For example, on my profile page, so I'm going to pull up two examples of what this looks like on mine and what it probably looks like on yours. So and Internet Explorer, I am logged in as MinnowUniversity. And this is probably what it looks like for you. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you download this Google Chrome extension, and I think there's been an update on there too, or another extension of it that you can download as well, this is what mine looks like. So it gives me different options, and one of those is that it tells me how much my upvote is worth on the slider. It also tells me if I click on my post, you know how you can see how many people have voted. Well, it also tells me what value they voted on and what is it worth, which is one of my favorite features as well.
Oh, look at that next to your name. Okay, 79.27% voting power and the value. That's cool.
That is cool. Now, if you don't want to download this extension, you can also look at steemitnow.com/add your Steemit username. And if you go there, you will find a place on the upper right-hand side where you can click or you can type in your name or whomever's name you would like. That is their Steemit profile. And that will tell you, if you move the slider, at what percentage what their slider is worth. Of course, if they voted on you when they were at 70%, but by the time you check they're at 90, the value would be different. But this gives you a rough estimate as well without having that extension on there. I don't have that extension handy, but I will make a note. If I can find it, I will add it to the class notes after class.
You know what I'm looking at this one picture you posted. I upvoted that at 100%, and that's 35 cents. Ospit Bank gave you 1%, and is 50 cents more than his 1% is 50 cents more than my 100%.
Well, he has 250,000 SP.
I would like to have 250,000 SP, please.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you could sell one of your kidneys and buy SP with it.
You know, that's not a half bad idea.
You do have 2 of them.
I do, and I'm not using one of them.
That's what I'm saying. Recovery time is not as bad as people think. Alrighty, the next topic we're going to be covering today is something that I am recently obsessed with. I love it. I can't get enough of it. If I've tried
Crypto kitties?
No, I've actually neglected my poor kitties. I should make sure they're still alive. But it is BidBots. I love them little suckers, and I feel like I have mastered the BidBot scenario thing. I don't know about you kids. And I haven't mastered it because I fully understand how it works. I have mastered it because there are 2 key components on how to maximize your BidBot experience. But before we get to the secret of success, let's break down what is a BidBot first. Shane?
You bring up a topic that seems to be very it's a love-hate thing going on with these BidBots. You either love the BidBots or people hate the BidBots.
But as a university, we are unbiased onto the feelings of particular topics. We're simply here to inform you of how and what they are.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, basically what a BidBot is, and there are different settings, but what you're going to run across is an account that has a program running on it. You send in a certain amount of SBD or Steem, depending on the bot, and it will weigh that vote, that amount coming in, versus what other people have sent in. And then during the voting period, when it gives the vote, it will give you a vote percentage based on what your bid was. So for example, let's say we have a BidBot that's going to pay a $10 upvote. Now, 3 people send in some money. Person A sends in, well, let's say 5 SBD. Person B sends in 2.5, and person C sends in 2.5. Well, when the voting comes around, person A is going to receive 50% of that $10. Person B and C are each going to get 25%. So that's how the breakdown happens. And then these votes happen every 2.4 hours. So it's a continuous vote every 2.4 hours, and it's just weighed against what your bid is compared to other people's bids.
Now, if you just completely zoned out like I did while he was explaining that,
Yes.
and that made absolutely no sense, excellent, my friends, you are ready to use the bid bots. Now, some of them accept SBD, others of them accept Steem. Because the value of the two are different, SBD is worth less than Steem, correct?
What?
SBD is worth less than the value of Steem if you convert it into fiat.
Are you sure about this?
Let's pretend that one is higher valued than the other for the sake of argument.
Okay.
Here. All right, so one of them is higher than the other at any given point. So you got to be careful which one you send. Now, if they allow you to send both, figure out which one is worth less and send that one. Keep in mind, though, that will affect your vote. Again, if I've lost you, scratch it. Throw that behind the class. Two things you need to remember. A, timing. B, value. A lot of people like to test the bid bots, but when they test it, they send a small value to multiple bid bots, which dilutes your buying power. And they send it at a time where everyone is bidding. The more people that bid, the less percentage you get back. So if you are planning on bidding $12 and you want to split it, I don't recommend splitting it more than twice. B, place your bids at a time that is odd. I live on the East Coast, so North America, Florida. So I bid at odd times. So if I'm up really late around midnight or 1 is generally when I do that. Or if I'm up at ungodly hours, 4 a.m. or 5, that's when I see the best returns for my investment. So write this down, kids. Don't dilute your buying power. If you're going to split, only split it among 2 bid bots. If you're going to bid, bid at odd hours. So whatever time people are at work or normal business hours is typically a bad time to bid. Now, this is not set in stone. This is just from my own experience that I have tracked and noticed when I have the most return for my buck. It is different for everyone. On the website, you'll notice that I have it up, and they have different tracking tools to help you. At the very top, you'll have the name of the bots, the vote value, the minimum bid, the maximum bid, the total bid, so on and so forth. They even upgraded it now, so if you click send bid, all you do is you type your name. It has the minimum bid amount already there, the URL. You click the button that says check and submit, and then the next page asks for your username and your password, and it automatically sends for you. The nice thing about this feature is if you send too little or your bid has passed the time, for whatever reason it's invalid, it automatically sends you that warning sign so you can't send it and you can make adjustments accordingly. And then you can use the other website that I told you called Steemit Now, this one here, to see when that vote has come in, what percentage that vote came in, and check to see roughly how much you make. Now there used to be a place on here as well. Let's scroll a little bit, where you could, here we go, how BidBot works. Here's an explanation. Vote calculator. This is what I was looking for. My favorite BidBot to use is UpMe. So let's say we've bid $12 or 12 SBD. It gives you a calculation of roughly how much that is worth at the time of bidding. Of course it varies, of course it depends, and it's not actual value, as they have the little disclaimer here, bid at your own case. Some may argue that this is a little bit like gambling. Some may argue that they lose more than they make, therefore they don't. Others even argue that it's not the true best way to earn the most out of your post. However, the more that you have on it, the more people see it, the more people will vote on it. So everything's debatable. Again, we don't pick one side or the other. I am for it. Many are against it. But at least now you know what it is, how you can use it, and where to go for it. If you click this blue button next to each bid bot, where it says send bid, the details button actually breaks it down per sender that sent it, what they bid, their bid value, voting value, and the memo they used it on. So if you wanted to check their post to see, okay, they bid 3, how much did they make on there? Okay, they bid 12, how much did they bid on it? And kind of make the comparison that way, you can as well. It always does the current round and the last round. So you can see what round you made on and who you were competing against for it as well. I've had a couple of people do their own experiments for it. Some say they break even, some say they lose money on it. And I have found that people who lose the most money from it are people who split their bidding. So they'll bid on 3 or 4 and they'll send the minimum and they won't make that much in return. Of course, those who bid higher amounts on multiple bids seem to have a better return, and some think that is the case. Do your own experiment. Let us know what you discover. I think it will be different for each person. I think the biggest thing is choose 1 or 2 bots and choose the time carefully that you bid. But that's just my own opinion.
I have noticed the same exact thing, what you were saying about the time period. I'm in the central time zone here in the United States, and I've noticed around 1 a.m. I'm
Beautiful
not usually
time.
up. Yeah, around 1 a.m. my time, which is, 2 yours. Yeah, you can really score. You can really get some nice upvotes if you pay attention to what you're doing.
Absolutely. And I've noticed that if I bid with Steam versus SBD, I make significantly less as well. So I will drop this link in here for you guys. Again, there's some literature on there as well for you to consider. Everyone and their cousin has written about their bid bots, their opinions, their thoughts, their calculations. So you can take it as well. The nice thing is if you click on the name of the bid bot, it takes you to their Steemit profile so you can read more about the people who created them, their rules and regulations. You'll also notice next to each name, there's these icons or emojis. Do we need to use your master password to log in? Let me find out for you.
You will not your master password, but you will need your private active key. Not your master. Never use your master.
Posting won't work because posting doesn't do financial transactions.
Right. That's why he would need the private active key. That will allow you to do transactions.
Which should be right under that one.
Yes. Yes.
Correct. What was I saying before?
Yes, sir. The private active key. Exactly.
Oh yes, the little emojis next to each of the bot's name. What those mean, and if you're watching on Twitch, I actually have a screen sharing going on so you can actually watch as I go through. So I'm going to zoom in really close so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. Next to each of the bot's name, there are these little emojis. And if you hover over them, it tells you what they mean. So if it has a green or purple check mark, it shows that they guarantee to be accurate, or at least to the best of their ability, on what their voting is going to be. So all that information they show you in between is as accurate as possible. The others are not as accurate as what I gather from that. The money sign with the green line over it automatically refunds invalid bids, which isn't really relevant anymore because the upgrade they did doesn't allow you to complete the bid if it is incorrect. So the new upgrade that they did on the program automatically has that, but it's nice to know that if it did go through and it was invalid, the bots that have those will automatically refund you. Now, if it has the Steam next to it, that means obviously you can bid with Steam. Not all of them do that. Most of them only allow you to bid with SBD. And the little running one, it says pre-vote front runner. I don't know what that means. I wouldn't concern yourself too much with it.
So what that means? Oh, what that means is there are front runner groups, and there is a program out there that was created by Inertia, and I believe some other people have created it, their own version since. But what it does is it looks for transfers to an account. For example, one of these bid bots. So this program runs, and it sees, let's say for an example, a $10 SBD transfer to UpMe. And this bot will say, hey, here's a big transfer. Let's go ahead and vote on that post that they have in their transfer because we know a big vote is coming. So it's a way to run a bot to vote before the bid bots come in, and you can get a little better curation that way. So what that is telling you is that there are front runners for that bot. So if you send a big enough bid, you're going to get some extra votes from accounts that are trying to make some money or make some money off curation from your bid that you put in.
Very nice. And there's one other that, let's see, I think it's Build-A-Whale. Let's see if I can see it on there. Okay. I read somewhere that Build-A-Whale, it has additional votes that follow the bids. So whatever you bid, and then you get additional upvotes from other accounts as well. Not all of them have that features. Some of them put comments, others don't. If you see a little squiggle that looks like a chat box, that means they do allow comments. I think all of them put comments. I've never used one that didn't, unfortunately.
I can tell you Upcoder does not allow comments. I run, for full disclosure, I do run Upcoder. It no longer upvotes comments. It is posts only. And I have also the setting set that it does not leave a big spammy comment saying, hey, look, I've upvoted you with this amount. It just does the upvote and leaves no comment anymore.
Also, I've never used this before, but there is a vote value scale slider here. So if you only want votes valued at, let's say, 390, it eliminates all the other ones and it leaves only those tops there. So if you want them to be a minimum of 1,000, it shows you all the bid bots with a minimum of 1,000. I think that's really cool. I never noticed that before, and I always go for the ones that have a minimum of 1,000 only.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So that is there for you. Son, I don't know what the extension is, but if you found it, please DM it to me so that I can add it to this show notes for others to use as well. Let me know what you think about it. I think it's pretty cool. It has a ton of little fun features as well. If you guys, I guess that brings up our next point. Have you heard of Junabot?
No. No, I have not.
You don't know what?
Oh, Genabot.
Yeah. Come on.
I for a second I thought you said Juno, and then I
No.
realized you were saying Genabot. No, Genabot. Yes, Genabot's awesome.
Yes, if you guys don't know what Junabot, there is a Discord for you to register. It is free. Whatever you send to register, it does send it back to you. And what this does is it's specialized notification. You can be notified every time someone mentions you. Now, oh, you thought I said Juno. Gotcha. No, Genabot. Forgive me. It notifies you whenever someone posts that they've tagged you. It notifies you whenever a particular person has posted. If they always post and you always seem to miss it, you can have a notification for that. If you're a witness, you can get notifications of when you're voted or unvoted for. You can get notifications when, what else do I get notifications for? Let's take a look. And it sends it to you via DM, and that's how you know. If someone sends you money, if someone votes your post and they unvote it, you can have a notification just for that. And it has a couple of other options on there as well, but those are the main ones that I use it for. Do you use it for anything different, Shane?
I'm sorry, say again.
What do you use Junabot for?
I use Genabot for whenever someone mentions me in a post. So I found out a few weeks ago that there was a post put out calling for all witnesses, but I didn't have my settings to be alerted when someone mentioned me in a post. So after that came out, I went ahead into Genabot. I'm like, okay, anytime anyone mentions me, I'll be alerted. So now I won't miss anything like that. I also have it set up when someone either votes or unvotes my witness. So that's what I mostly use it for. And then I do have a few people on there whenever they make a post. I'll get an alert saying, hey, Kubi Elizabeth just made a post.
I don't know who
and I
that
can
is.
go check it. Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
It's just someone I follow.
Oh, okay.
So,
I did the mistake of, now I do use Junabot. Every once in a while she has to go through certain updates. So, and the nice thing is the creator always tells you, or you can let him know, hey, I've noticed that I've missed a few notifications, and he'll update them. But I found this app, and it's called Steemify, and it's by the Block Brothers, whom are brilliant. And it's a notification setting. You can't post from it. You can upvote and you can comment from this app, but that's about it. And I get notifications on here as well. They give you pretty much the same options as GinaBot. And so I noticed that if I get one notification or the other, I know one of the two are down. So this kind of, if I'm on the go, I get it on my phone to kind of keep track. Unfortunately, I added on here people who unfollow or mute me. And I don't recommend that because that's not always the funnest things to be alerted, because a lot of newbies will follow you, I've noticed, and then randomly unfollow you, but it's never a happy feeling.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't recommend having that feature on there, but everything else, it's really awesome because you may not know if other people are posting about you or referencing you about things unless you're directly following and reading them. So this is a cool way to see who's saying what where. Now, when you get the Google extension, if you decide to do it, there is a mentions tab that you can click on that tells you, and it tells you if it's been mentioned in a post or in a comment, so you can filter it one way or the other, which I think is pretty awesome. Also, the Google extension has this feature called links, and if you click on that, most of the things that I talk about today, it will have on there. So Steemit D, it will have the Steemit DB, which I used to use quite often, Steemit Tracked, followers, all that stuff. And I used to have all of it bookmarked, but now I don't really need to because it's all there for you. So, huge fan. Highly recommend it.
This is cool.
Yeah, it's really neat because it kind of keeps track of everything for you, what you need, and it has the equivalent of Steemit Now. Some of these are under construction at the moment, but is there a Firefox or Safari version? I think I saw somewhere a Firefox version, but I will look that up for you and find out. Firefox or Safari. I've made a note. If you use an iPhone, there is an app called eSteem. Let me pull it up. It's called ESTEEM. Unfortunately, it has been a little... Can you put Chrome on a Mac? You can. I just haven't done it before, but I can find out for you. Izara, I think you have one, if I'm not mistaken. Shane, doesn't she have a Mac?
Yeah, and you can absolutely put Chrome on a Mac.
Beautiful. So you can do that. How is the process different?
Nope. It's pretty much exactly the same. I mean, just install it like you would any other Mac application.
Yeah. eSteem has been buggy. What I love about eSteem is I write all my posts on Sunday and get them edited. And then I have them scheduled to post at a certain time every day without me having to think about it. I like to post at different times. So I'll do 1 week where I post every day at either 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. And then the following week I'll do PM to kind of track and see if there's any difference in rewards. In my case, very rarely there is, but I've noticed that a lot of my Australian friends will notice the 5 a.m. post more because it's more time zone friendly for them. But again, that's just my case in particular. Unfortunately, it has been buggy. Good Karma is the one that created that app and hasn't responded. I did tell him for the iOS phones, it's been buggy. I don't know if Android, it has been the same. But the nice thing about it, you can have more than one account on there. So if you curate through a different account, if you post for a different account, you can have multiple accounts on there in which you can post. You cannot schedule multiple posts for multiple accounts, if that makes sense. And unless you have the master key for all of them, just the posting key won't work. Now, I don't recommend you using your master key for every app you use, but if you want one, if you do have it and you want it, that is an option for you as well. I do use it on my phone and it has been buggy. Yeah, unfortunately it has. I think Good Karma is working on it. He never got back to me after he asked his initial questions. I think he's working on it. A lot of things with Steam and Steemit this week have been kind of buggy, and I think they're working through it. So hopefully by the time you guys, if you don't have it, if you do get it, you'll notice it on there and be with it. Thank you. So those are the various apps that I use. Do you use anything different on your phone, Shing?
No, I just use Steemit itself. I don't really use any crazy apps. I have Discord, which I mean that's not really a part of Steemit at all. But no, I don't use any of the third parties on my mobile.
You can have Discord as an app on your phone as well, and on the iPhone if you have it as well. Now, for the phone, I use Safari to check all my Steemit stuff, but on my desktop, I use Chrome at home. I don't have anything audit saved, but I think it's because all my work stuff are saved to my Google account on my phone. So when I'm on the go, I have to be able to do that, and I didn't really want to mix it. But you can be auto logged in. I don't know if you can have the extension on your phone though. I don't think that's a possibility. Also, very cool. You on the Google Chrome, you can check your witness votes. I saw this some. Oh, not witness votes. Sorry, I'm confusing. In your settings, there is an option for you to preview your post to the right-hand side. So once you've downloaded the extension, this is one of the options for you. I have it disabled right now because some of the coding I was using wasn't working. But if I enable it, let's see if this asks me to save it. And then I go to write a post. Let's pick something. It will show side by side for it. So as I'm writing, I can see it. Normally for the regular post, it will be right under it and you have to keep scrolling down. The nice thing about this one, it will be side by side. Now, similar to HackMD, if you guys want to pre-write it at HackMD, it does show side by side. And I've noticed sometimes with HackMD, the pictures don't always show up. Same thing with this one. For whatever reason, sometimes it doesn't. But that is something else that's really cool.
Yeah, for whatever reason, especially when you put the center tag on a picture, the picture goes away. It's still there. It still works perfectly. You just don't see it in the preview.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. I haven't figured out. I thought maybe there was something wrong in the coding I would use, so I would test it somewhere else and then pull it back up. But that wasn't the case. It's just the enabling it. Whenever you put formatting codes in there, it automatically nicks it, which is fine. Totally okay. But if you prefer to write this way and see it, you can just go back into your settings and disable it. Whoops. Oh, it gives you a whole bunch of other options too, like a floating post voting bar. You can have it at different size or disabled. You can have sortable followers and following table. Don't know what that is, but I do have it on. Zoom on user profile picture. Oh, and you can even have a GIF picker enabled on comments and post, which is really cool. Versus having to like search it and then go back. It already has it enabled in there, so you can just search within the comments, post all in one place without having to search another web browser. All fun things for you guys to be able to do. Alrighty. Do you guys have any questions about anything that we've talked about today? Anything that you're curious about? Feel free to let us know. Anything you'd like to add, Shane?
No, you've covered it pretty well, Kubi. Miss Elizabeth, I'm sorry. No, you've done a great job.
So last thing I'd like to talk about today then is for people who don't know, once you post, you'll notice that you have 7 days until you pay out. Now, on a really good day, you'll notice that all your posts will magically or organically, like I like to call it, will start to grow in value, but you aren't necessarily gaining any extra upvotes. On the other side, sometimes you'll notice that your posts are going down, and there are apps you can check to see if you are getting flagged, which would affect the prices or the value of those posts. But if you aren't getting flagged, there is a reason why the price fluctuates. Shane?
Several reasons why that price may fluctuate. One could be the absolute price of. So, as the price of Steam fluctuates, so could your post value. And Steemit looks at a 3-day rolling value. So whatever that average value is over the last 3 days is sort of what your payout is, your pending payout. If Steam drops in a few days, you'll see that your payout may drop. As Steam rises, you may see that it rises. It's all that controls the ups or downs, the external price of Steam. The other thing that you may see is the amount of shares that are available throughout all of Steam may increase. And as that increases, the value will just steadily, just sort of tiny step down. So you may not see anything. The price of Steam may stay perfectly straight, but because there are more votes out there, the size of the pie is getting smaller, so to speak. You'll see your value just drop just a little bit over those 7 days before the final payout.
So if you want more to go around and you want more out of your post, there is something that you can do, even in your little way, that could help. Shane, talk to us about why people should be powering up the Steam that they do earn from the platform.
When you power up Steam, people, it is going to help you give upvotes much higher. As you're able to help people more, people are going to pay more attention to you. So the higher that SP is, the more followers you're just going to naturally get, because people see that SP and they're like, hey, if I follow this person and they like me, I might get part of that juicy upvote. And so it's always good to power up. That power up is going to make your account strong. It's going to make your account attractive. It's going to make your upvotes worth more, and you're just going to have a fun time on Steam. Mint.
Yes, very juicy. Now, sometimes you'll hear whales talk about this person is taking up 28% of the reward pool. This person is taking up 18% of the reward pool. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, okay, well, how much of it do I get? And where do you come up with these calculations? So what does that mean? How do they come up with these calculations of a single person taking up the reward pool? How is the reward pool relevant, and how can they evaluate, like, if my post is worth 3,000, that is 2% of the reward pool. Their post is worth 10,000. That's 18%. Where does this value come from? What exactly are they talking about?
That's a danged fine question, Kubi, and let me find the answer for you.
All right. In the meantime, you guys will know that along those lines, people will talk about stake. What is their stake on the platform? Well, that also has to do with how much SP you have on your account. All of you, if you've been here for a little while, will notice that we refer to people as some sort of fish. Now, I do love me some sea animals, so I'm all about that. However, if you're a vegetarian or vegan, worry not, we do not want to eat you. No. Well, but we will refer to how much moolah you have in your wallet. What that means is, if you have anything less than 5,000 SP, you are generally considered a minnow. Now, if you have less than 500, you're generally considered a redfish, which is even smaller. For the sake of argument, we just call everyone a minnow until you're a dolphin. When do you become a dolphin? Typically, that's around 10,000 SP.
Boo!
And a whale, now there's miniature whales, which is hilarious because how are you a mini whale, is typically around 30 to 50. And anything above that is a whale, which is interesting because you have people who have 250,000, even $1 million SP, and they're still considered a whale. So you cannot be bigger than that. So if you could also be a plankton if you're a newbie on here, but generally we're referred to either as a minnow, a dolphin, or a whale, which is one of the three. Now, if you purchase coins and then sell them for Steam and become an instant dolphin, your stake on the Steemit platform is greater than someone who has 500 or someone who has 100, which is totally fine. Everyone's stake in the platform is different. However, your stake also equates to the reward pool, which Shane is finding the answer for us now. Unless he died. Shane?
I am still searching exactly what I'm trying to find here.
Okay, no worries. There are two ways to grow on the platform. Organically, as some people like to call it, by commenting and hopefully getting upvotes, by upvoting other people, And by using the bid bots, by using our free services, all these things naturally help you grow on the platform. The more that you have SP and SPD, the bigger and larger that you are. Now, if you delegate that away or it's delegated to you, that does expedite the process a bit as well. A way for you to become an instant dolphin, whale, what have you, is like I said, you can sell some of your other crypto and convert it into Steem, instant dolphin, instant whale. Now, the more SP you have, the more you make, because obviously your upvotes are worth a lot more. Every time you upvote a post, after 12 minutes, you make 50% of whatever that's worth. Now, after a longer period of time, you make 100% of that curation, which we can talk about later. But if you'll notice after your payout, you'll notice that a percentage of it, 25%, goes to all the people who upvoted it. Now, if I upvote something at 10% and you upvote it at 100, what we make back is different because we upvoted it at a different value. Our stake in that is different. However, if my 10% is equivalent to your 100%, we are equal and we make equal stake back. So all that to say, the more SP you have, the more SP you spend, the more SP you make back. But keep in mind, there is some science to it. If you upvote a post every time when it's only been live for a minute or it's only been on the platform for 10 minutes, most of that rewards goes back to the writer and you don't get much from it. However, if you wait at least 12 minutes, you do make a portion of it back. Have you found your answer yet, Shane?
I have not, Kubi.
That's okay. So, guys, we will end on that. We have been live for about an hour now, and we have hammered you down with quite a bit of information. Next week, when we come back, our first topic will be the reward pool. What does that mean? How do they come up with this calculation? What is mine and what is your stake, depending on how much we vote? We will cover all of this plus some. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We still have another hour, but I will end my recording for the first half, and we will just chit chatter and banter and maybe play some music. I'm Miss Elizabeth, your pink professor. And this project was started by Swalker 101. If you don't know him, get to know him. Vote. Whoops, helps if you spell his name right. Vote his witness. Okay, why can't I spell? Why is this such a struggle? There we go. Duh, words. There we go. Boom. 4th time's the charm. Shane, thanks for being late. Always a pleasure.
I was exactly on time.
Yeah, it's relative. Bye, guys. See you next week.